Hello everybody, this is Lara from Pure Elliott Wave with your Monday to Friday update for Bitcoin and XRP. Some of you quite rightly state that I talk a little bit too fast. If my speech is too fast for you to understand what I'm trying to explain, go to settings, playback speed, choose 0.75 or 0.5. Your problem will be immediately resolved. Bitcoin continues to move sideways in a huge rectangle pattern. It's got a slightly downward slope, which is pretty normal for a consolidation within the larger trend. And the larger trend at the monthly time frame for Bitcoin remains very firmly up. When Bitcoin's in an upward trend, or for any market, if it's in an upward trend, the time to buy in an upward trend is when price is at lows. That's the general idea. Buy when prices are low and sell when prices are high. When price is consolidating, it's a time to take stock, manage your position and buy when prices are low. So if you've got a consolidation like this and it's got this support line here around this pink trend line here, that's a pretty good guide as to when prices are going to be low, and when prices are low, that's a good time to buy. One of the things when I used to day trade, and I did it for a little while, I don't do it anymore because I really don't like it. I find it stressful and it doesn't suit my lifestyle, but I used to quite like these consolidations, and what I would do is I would enter a short position when prices were high and I'd enter a long position when prices are low, and I'd hold those two positions fluctuating until there was an obvious breakout. If price broke out upward, I'd have a positive long position, I'd have a slightly negative short position, I'd close the short for a loss and hold on to the long and let it run for the next bullish run, calculating my target from either using gaps or using the structure that price had broken out from. If price broke out downward, I would hold the short position, which would be positive, and I would close the long position for a small loss. I'd be net positive at the time price broke out, and I'd hold that short position while price ran for the next run, and I'd calculate the target from the structure that it broke out from, and there would be my profit point for the next run. So that's one approach you can have to a structure like this. Now that would have been great to set up earlier, somewhere around here, but we are getting pretty mature for this rectangle pattern, so the longer this goes on, the closer the breakout's going to be. Yesterday's completed candlestick is a nice bullish reversal and a hammer candlestick. 2 sessions prior we had a bullish engulfing candlestick. The hammer candlestick has support from volume. Upward movement within the session has push from volume. The current session is so far red, but it's only 8:42 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. There's many hours to go in this session before we can see what this candlestick's going to complete as. So it's far too early to draw conclusions on this candlestick. If it closes green, then we might have a morning star candlestick pattern. If it closes red, then I think we may see support about 55,000 or maybe even 53,500, or at the lower pink trend line. So one of these areas may be tested if the current session closes with a strong red body. I keep saying one of the problems with cryptocurrencies is their lows are so very difficult to identify. The highs are hard to identify, but if you've got a solid Elliott Wave count, it can be done, and I did manage to do that for December 2017. I didn't manage to do it for November 2021. I did manage to predict the last low a few weeks after it formed while prices were still relatively low, but it takes a little while before you can see enough strength up off lows to have confidence that the low is in place. So what I'm trying to say is it's really difficult to identify these short-term lows, let alone the long-term lows. So this is where risk lies. If price is going to continue lower, and it certainly could, this is where I would expect final support to be found at this stage. I'm not expecting new lows below the 5th of August as very likely, possible, but I expect that's most likely the 5th of August lows will remain intact. So this lower pink trend line is where your risk lies at this point in time. Please do manage risk carefully. The hammer candlestick pattern is closed green and there's push from volume, so there is some strength and upward movement in last session. I'll be watching the current session's close quite carefully. On balance, volume is at resistance for the last completed session. This may assist to halt a rise in price for the very short term. This may force a red candlestick for the 5th of September. ADX tells us there's a downward trend for the short term. RSI is neutral, so there are ways to go before it reaches oversold. Now, if we do see a lower low below the 5th of August and we see double bullish divergence, I would have even more confidence that the lower low would remain intact. But for now, because RSI reached oversold on the 24th of June, oversold again on the 5th of August and exhibited bullish divergence with price, that indicates that the 5th of August is fairly likely to remain intact as a low, particularly as money flow also exhibits bullish divergence at the 5th of August. Both of those indicate that the low of the 5th of August is likely to remain sustained for the long term. Now, that doesn't mean it's definitely going to be sustained. Balance of probability indicates it's most likely to be sustained. This is an exercise in probability, not certainty. ADX is declining as price moves lower. There's no strength in volume or range in this downward movement. I don't expect that Bitcoin is in a new bear market. There's just not enough indication of strength in downward movement for that to be reasonable. XRP also has given us a bullish reversal pattern, indicating that mini-wheat wave 2 may very well be complete. Sub-mini-wheat Y completed a double zigzag, first zigzag, sub-mini-wheat W, X in the opposite direction. Y has moved price below W, not as much as I had expected. I thought we were going to get a test of about 50 cents. I did think we were going to get a sharp wick below 55 cents. I first thought that maybe we were going to have a low on the 1st of September because the 2nd did give us a strong bullish engulfing candlestick pattern, but it did move lower back to my original estimation with a sharp wick below 55 cents moving back above. So I expect that this could be a low in place, but we really do need to see some strength up off this low in order to have confidence that mini-wheat 2 is indeed complete. This is where risk lies for this Elliott Wave count. It is absolutely possible that this movement could continue lower. I do not expect it to move below 0.4322. That is where your risk lies for a risk-reward calculation. XRP is moving sideways with resistance now at 58 cents above that 62 and support holding at 54.55 cents. The last completed candlestick is a dragonfly doji. That's a bullish reversal pattern suggesting that this downward swing occurring at strong support about 55 cents is fairly likely to remain intact. We also have a golden cross as a 50-day moving average, crosses above the 200-day moving average, negating this previous death cross. It was followed by downward movement. The golden cross could very well be followed by upward movement. I use this as a lagging indicator. I give this least weight, but it is bullish, supporting the view that the low for XRP of the 5th of August is likely to remain intact. Volume was very strongly pushing price higher, up off the lows in July, along with an increase in range. Very strong support from volume is very, very bullish for XRP. On balance, volume is within a new little range. There's no signal today, but we will get a signal because these trend lines are converging, so we should get a signal pretty soon from on balance volume for XRP. I'll watch that one closely. ADX is very close to 15, very close to giving us the strongest bearish signal it can give for XRP because the negative DX line is above the positive. If ADX reaches 15 with a positive slope, that will tell us that XRP may be in the very, very early stages of a new downward trend. It's not there yet though, so at this point, because it's below 15, no clear trend is indicated. And so using a model of stochastics plus support and resistance, stochastics is bouncing up from oversold, price is bouncing up from support about 55 cents. The model would expect stochastics to continue higher till it reaches overbought and price to continue higher until it reaches one of those resistance areas noted on the price chart. And if they get there simultaneously, that may be where and when an upward swing may end. That's it from me with your update today, and as per a request, I'll put a little image of the wave I'm surfing down here in northern Africa. This is Imsouane. It's a beautiful right hand point break. Had a couple of good early morning sessions recently, and there's a lot of paddling going on, a lot of drop-ins as well. There doesn't seem to be any surf etiquette out here, kind of similar to the lack of adherence to road rules in Morocco perhaps. I don't know. It's a lot of fun though, a lot of fun.